Hello and welcome to another episode of Geekgo. Well, episodes ago I ranted about the shittiness of the new Doom 3 BFG edition, which is the big fucking greedy edition. But anyway, so let's take a look at, well, alternatives to play your classic Doom games. Well, today we're going to take a look at quite a few of these engines. We've got Doom 95, Doomsday, Edge, Boom, Boom Plus, Legacy, Risen 3D, and Z-Doom. First, let's take a look at Doom for Windows 95. This version of Doom is actually the first ever Doom I ever played. It was in the final Doom package with TNT and Petonia, and yes, it was released for, well, Windows 95. It's also one of the official releases of Doom engines. And what you've got in this engine is, well, actually pretty complete. If you're looking to play an official Doom, and what it was back when it was first released, this engine comes with, well, pretty neat features. First, you have single player and all those, well, classic old-fashioned multiplayer styles. There is network play, but online DOS modem and stuff, yeah, those probably don't work anymore. Next you see that, well, this engine supports all of the official Doom RADs. A Doom RAD is, well, each individual RAD contains the entire episode of a Doom game. For example, Doom 1 or Doom 2, all the levels are in there, all the difficulties and so on and so forth. And that is also, well, the best way to release a Doom mod. People comprise all of the files into one RAD that the engine can read. This simplifies things a lot for, well, people to get new RADs and stuff, because all you need to do is download one file and make the engine load that one file. And then, of course, you have all the standard settings that, well, you can previously set in-game, but now you've got the, well, it's made it easier for you to select in this, well, in this Windows style. You got your difficulty setting, you got your monster setting, respawning monsters, fast monsters, or no monsters. Maybe that's more useful for multiplayer games. You can select any map to start off with, and then you got settings to start from a previous save game, a timed game, screen resolution, and demo. Now I'm running Windows 7 and 64-bit, and this game runs fine. However, occasionally launching this game, there's a graphics color glitch. So just quit the game and load it again. Maybe you have to load it 5 times max before you can load the game with no graphical issues whatsoever. However, there are still issues with, for example, the text not appearing at the top because the screen's cut off, some issue with the resolution, and of course this is a software rendered game, which means, well, my video capture software doesn't work on this game. So I apologise, but I gotta use my camera pointing at the screen. Fraps just doesn't want to work on this game, and Camtasia Studio is a piece of crap, so there you go. And of course you can access all of your keyboard, mouse, joystick and audio controls. God knows who's going to use a joystick to play first person shooters, but apparently people did back then. And I imagine some gamepads will probably work with this, but come on, you're on a PC and you're playing first person shooters. Who's going to use a fucking gamepad? Are you retarded or something? You also have string chat options, which is obviously for multiplayer, but I've never used them once in my entire life, because I never played this game online with anyone. I think I only played LAN parties with, well, I think twice with my dad, and that was it. So yeah, this official engine is easy and quick to use, and it's very small, even if you put all the official Doom RADs in there. The downside is, well, it's not the most stable thing anymore on the new Windows, but, well, it works. It works on 64-bit, so kudos, well done, that's good programming right there. Apart from a few minor crashes once in a while. Now, this engine does support loading custom RADs. The only problem with this is you gotta know where the RAD comes from and what game the RAD is supposed to support, because some people make RADs for Doom 2 or the first Doom or TNT and so forth, and you have no idea if it's gonna work or not. Sometimes you load the game and then, well, Doom will load up, but all the customization and new levels aren't there. There's also no way of picking which level to start off with if you load a custom RAD. So this engine isn't the best choice to load custom RADs. Well, not much else to say with this version, just that it's the official one that works on Windows, and if all you want to do is play the classic Doom games and not what all the mods are, you know, ignore user created content, then this is the way to go. It works, it's fun, it's fast. Next we have Edge, which is an engine that tries to add a little bit of features to the original Doom game. These features include 3D floors where you can have, well, rooms over other rooms. This engine removes a lot of bugs and also a lot of limitations from the original engine. Also adds hardware 3D acceleration, which means software such as Fraps can actually record game footage. So playing a Let's Play on the original Doom games, this is probably engine to go. You can switch off all the new features such as jumping and mouse look and all that, which means you can pretty much play the classic Doom game on all modern machines without any issue. There's also the inclusion of bots. You can advance start your game in a sort of multiplayer style and have up to 16 bots supposedly, but that's never worked for me. The game always crashes when I load anything up to 5 bots. So I can have 2 or 3 bots running around with me, and well, they're okay bots. They sort of feel a bit like headless chickens that sort of run around within the radius. Their aiming is decent enough, and well, yeah, they're quite a lot of fun if you're in a multiplayer game and you want a few extra bots to fill up the server. The downside to this engine is, well, it needs all the official Doom RADs to be in its folder. However, it always seems to select Doom 2. Even if I drag and drop TNT or Doom 1 into the engine execution file, it just doesn't work. It still loads up Doom 2. So this engine is a pain in the ass to use, because every time you want to play the other Dooms, you got to delete Doom 2 and just have one official Doom RAD in there at a time. So you're going to move files out and move files back in. The easiest way is to have 4 different Edge folders, each with a different official Doom RAD. Also, I've never been able to successfully load mods properly or easily. Yes, you can load other mods and custom RADs in this engine, because I've seen pictures and people do it before, but it's not the most user-friendly thing out there. So, last thing to say is that this engine's probably the best one to record footage of if you want the most pure vanilla Doom experience that you can get by turning off all the new features. It's also good to have bots, otherwise you're probably better off the other engines that I'm going to tell you about next. Next we have Boom, which was created by Team TNT. Yes, that's the same team that made the TNT RAD for Final Doom. It's supposed to create, well, bug fixes and also remove limitations of the original Doom and adding extra editing features. This sounds a bit like Edge. Yes, this engine is very similar to Edge, but this engine is closer to the original as much as possible. This engine supports hardware acceleration as well, but you can always opt to use non-hardware acceleration to make the game look even closer to its original version. The upside of this version is that I can drag and drop any official Doom RAD into the engine and it will load just fine, unlike Edge, which still loads Doom 2. But I can't seem to find any multiplayer options or anything like that. There is a Boom server, but it's not user friendly. It's not just click and launch and there you go. This engine also has some issues like Windows 95 version, where one of the top left text doesn't appear, it's cut off again. But I have noticed that the transparency of the invisible pinkies well, looks better. But what the hell is this? What the hell's going on? I literally am in hell right now. Huh? This is the first time this has happened, but huh? Oh well, better relaunch the engine. And then we have Boom Plus, which is another port from the original engine, but this time is a port from Boom itself. One of the original creators of the Boom engine is one of the creators of this one, and this one's supposed to lift even more limitations of the original Doom, such as uncapped frame rate, variable game speed, re-record, walk cam, chase cam, full mouse look, and other features. But playing it as a player, you're not going to notice much of these difference between the two different Boom ports. Although the first thing you notice is that the textures and graphics have that sort of weird filter on them, which I really don't like. And even though there's mouse support and mouse look, it's still a 2D game, even with the OpenGL hardware acceleration support. So when you're looking up and down, everything looks distorted. There's not much to say here, but if you're going to use Boom, just use Boom and not Boom Plus. Sorry, but I don't like this version that much. And oh look, it crashed. Next we have Zed Doom, which is, well, made to support all new Windows and Windows versions and all that. It also supports most of the Boom extra features and many other new features. Zed Doom loads so easily. Again, you gotta have all the official, well, WADs in the same folder as Zed Doom, and as soon as you launch it, it'll have its own menu where you can, well, see everything there. It can load custom WADs as well, but again, you gotta know which red suits which version of Doom, or else there'll be something wrong with it. As for the new extra features, this is the only Doom engine where I know there's a crouch option. Not really sure what it's for, because no maps really use it. And bloody hell, look at all those options, there's so many. But where's the crosshair function for the shooting? With said Doom, you can pretty much forget about Boom Plus. Boom Plus becomes, well, just pointless to have it now. The 3D and the textures actually look better in said Doom than in Boom Plus, but there's still a little bit of weirdness when you look up and down. However, on high resolutions you can tell the sharpness of the textures and corners of all the maps and 3D objects. Ooh, you can also create your own marine! Ooh, there's also the other gender! Wait, that means said Doom is transgender! Oh, well done. Oh, I'm serious. Pink green. So finally, I'll recommend this engine if you want to play classic Doom with only a few extra things like updated for modern Windows, jumping and crouching, and well, slightly 3D enhanced. Oh, and by the way, said Doom also supports other Doom engine games such as Hexen, Heretic and Strife. So yeah, check it out. Next we have Doom Legacy. Now what this engine does is, well, it has the same principles as the past few. It tries to keep Doom as original as possible while updating it, keeping the spirit alive. Again, of course, there's OpenGL, which supports 3D and you can play Doom high resolutions. There's also transparency and fires and so on, chase cam, which, just to explain what it is actually third person mode, and a hidden status bar, which the other engines also kinda have. And here's what I find really interesting, split screen mode. Yeah, you heard that right, split screen on a PC game. How awesome is that? And of course mouse look and mouse aim, up to 32 multiplayers, and select your own skin, which is kinda like Quake 2, and that's really good. And many other features like deathmatch ranking, that's really cool. Having said that, that's all fine and dandy, but I can't get this thing to work in, well, hardware mode. Every time I launch it, it still goes back to, well, software mode, so I can't even record it with fraps. The mouse look and feel just feels wrong. It doesn't feel smooth, it feels wonky. It's almost like one of those, if you ever use one of those mouse to controller converters that you get on the consoles like Xbox 360 and PS3, where it takes the joystick and turns into a mouse movement, it doesn't feel right. Looking up and down is, oh, like Boom Plus, where it, again, it's not really hardware. It doesn't feel 3D. Looking up, all the perspective gets distorted and horrible. The graphics look, well, there's something wrong with the lights. And even with the Doom Legacy launcher, I can't get any other Dooms to launch. Doom 2 again seems to be dominant, and I can't launch any other Dooms. And I've never been able to successfully load custom skins and mods into this engine at all. Maybe it's a new Windows and all that, and this was made some time ago, but it's just not working. That's just sad, because I want to play those features I see on the website, but this thing just isn't user friendly like it claims to be. I'm just gonna have to skip on this one, I guess. Next we move on to Doomsday, where, well, things really get spiced up. Doomsday is the engine where it turns all the classic Doom engine games such as Heretic, Hexen and all that, and will pretty much update it to, well, modern times. It even counts Chex Quest as an official Doom game. How cool is that? This engine supports a shared settings for all the games you have installed on it, so my advice is to go there first and set all the graphics settings to, well, your preferred settings and defaults. After that, you can go to each game's own profile and tweak them to your own liking. This engine is very easy to use and very easy to install all the extra 3D models and 3D packs. I've managed to easily get the high resolution textures working for Doom and the new sound effects packs, but for some reason I've never managed to get any of the 3D objects and models to work. That's why the monsters are still, well, look like they were from the original game. The other games run fine, Hexen and Heretic and all that, so that's good. So yeah, I've also not been able to load custom RAS easily on this engine either. Maybe it's just me, but all these engines, I just can't seem to do everything on them that, you know, they claim to have. thought the whole point of these new engines is to add new features and make them really user-friendly. Just, you know, download something and stick something in a folder and it should work, but it's not that simple. I'm sure if I mess around with these engines for hours, I can get them to work as they're supposed to, but until then, well, I've got a better option. And finally, for the video today, we have Risen 3D, and my god, this is my personal favorite engine because it is user-friendly, everything just works just fine, and excuse me right there. With this engine, installing 3D objects, 3D monsters, new sound effects, high resolution textures and skyboxes are just as easy as just a click. It's even got its own installation files which does everything for you. Upon the first time launch of the game, it tells you where to put all the official Doom RAMs, just like the other engines, but after they go in the folder it doesn't ask you anymore, and you can pick each one, you can pick each mission that you want to play, pick all these different options, and then you go on to the next tab, and then there's all these different 3D objects and stuff that you can tick or not tick. The only downside is, if you have a save game that uses some of these extra textures, that save game only works with those settings. If you change the 3D objects or take them off, you're gonna have to start a new game. It's no big deal because you can start on any level you want with these Doom games. Loading a custom RAD is just as easy as these extra textures and 3D objects. You just click this button in the middle, install a RAD of your own choice, it could be anything, you can remove it afterwards, and just click and launch it. It knows which Doom to use. And if you don't want to use all these new stuff, just click the disable all models. There you go. You can even use your custom soundtrack. It's wow. There's even a grenade launcher which replaces the rocket launcher, but it's kind of cool addition. The only downside, of course, is well, it only runs Doom games. Hexen, Heretic, a lot of those don't work, which is a shame, really. And well, that's that. If you're gonna play Doom again, Risen 3D is the best engine I can recommend. It does everything I want it to do. It can turn back to the classic Doom if you want to. And if you want to use the other Doom games such as Hex and Heretic, use Doomsday because that runs them pretty perfectly. Oh hey Doom guy, I see you're shooting zombie soldiers again. Cool. Hey, by the way, when's Doom Mars and Bricks coming out?